Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly. On this episode, our buddy Landon Mayer drops in to discuss new beginnings and update us on what's on tap for 2023. If you're in the Atlanta area this weekend, be sure to stop by the Fly Fishing Show. We'll both be there all weekend. Before we get to our conversation with Landon, though, just a couple of housekeeping items. If you like the podcast, please tell a friend and please subscribe and leave us a rating and review in the podcatcher of your choice. It really helps us out. And a shout out to this episode's sponsor. This episode's sponsored by our friends at the Fly Fishing Show. The Fly Fishing Show heads to Atlanta this weekend and then on to Denver, Pleasanton, and Lancaster. Bob Clouser's come out of retirement, and the Atlanta show is a 3-day event. It should be a great time. For dates, ticket and class info, and other event details, head over to www.flyfishingshow.com. Now, on to our interview. Well, Landon, welcome back to the Articulate Fly.
Thank you, Marvin. It's a pleasure to be back in the new year and all new things to come, my friend.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We were talking before we started recording, and you are sealing your position as the most frequent guest on the Articulate Fly.
Absolutely. Like Regis Philbin on Letterman, man. I've got that covered.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's interesting too, talking in the new year, and I know it's been a really important thing in your life, probably for, probably close to the last year, is really about kind of a reset and new beginnings. And, that kind of really started like you got engaged a few months ago, right?
I did. There was a lot of transformation in life and new beginnings and a new path. And I think my quote's going to be moving forward is that positivity is a choice. And my new partner in that journey in life is Charlie Banks, her son Cody, and my son River, and my daughter Madeline. And we are on a path of happiness, many hopefully big fish to come, and adventures along the way, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And you resettled in Woodland Park, which is a gorgeous place.
It's a great small town. We joke that it's the ski town without a slope, but we get plenty of snow. And as you know, after visiting here last year and fishing together, we're only 20 minutes from the close place to fish. And furthest west, I think we're about 45 minutes from South Park and the Dreamstream. So it's a wonderful location. Great community too.
Yeah. And I know you like the gym because everybody I talk to talks about how ripped you're getting.
Yeah. Part of the new beginnings and paths for sure. The therapy I get from that, just staying in shape, because I know there's many more miles to walk on the river's edge or row on the boat. And yeah, definitely fitness is a part of life right now. And the gym is literally 2.5, maybe 3 minutes away. So I'm very lucky to have that close to home and using that as motivation for many things to come. But yeah, fitness and health and happiness, man, I'm thankful for everything this new year.
Yeah. Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek into your routine? How many days are you in there? And, how many 45-pound plates are you sitting there when you do chin-ups?
You bet. Yeah, it's now to the point where I'm 16 months straight. I've always worked out since I was younger, just trying to stay fit, but really on this specific routine and very regimented about it. It's been 16 months, and now doing pull-ups with 45-pound plates and almost benching 400 on regular reps and things I thought I could never do in my 40s. I'm achieving these goals, and I'm doing it on a strength training path where instead of being overnight or expecting to lift heavy weights, it's more fitness and then reaching goals weekly and monthly. And it's just been awesome. The motivation for myself and hopefully motivation for others has really been inspiring. So I'm happy to do it and happy to pass on that positive motivation and just get in there and try to stay healthy and safe.
Yeah, very cool. And, I've got a whole list of stuff we're going to kind of tick through here because there's a whole lot of stuff going on. And, the great thing is we're probably, knock on wood, on the other side of kind of the COVID show season. But one of the things you were telling me before you started recording is you've got a new fly pattern coming out with Umpqua.
I do. I'm really excited about it. Umpqua Feather Merchants, they're like a second family when it comes to fly design. And when they're supplying the industry with flies from really good anglers and other people that believe in preparation being the key for the following day's success, the new fly is a damsel imitation. It's a dry fly, and it matches my mini leech jig damsel and also my other leech patterns and series. So I'm really excited about it. We've been working on this as far as getting it into production for a couple of years now and designed the fly 7 years ago. So every time a new fly is introduced to the world, thanks to Umpqua and the great jobs at their factory and supply and demand to shops, it's wonderful to have that release. So it's coming out this spring, there'll be some cool opportunities for the unveiling. I'll be having live Instagram with Fly Fishermen, which is on the 23rd of March. Following that's going to be an article that will show the fly and some of its designs and information on how to fish it. So extremely excited about it. And larger dry flies are always a challenge, not only in design, but also having buoyancy in the fly, making sure it looks and represents the natural, can be effective in windy conditions, which, as you know, being up here, we get it all the time. So I'm definitely excited for this to come out and looking forward to the response, and hopefully it brings anglers success.
Very cool. And, obviously it'll work on spinning in your still waters, but where else can folks fish it in Colorado and elsewhere?
Yeah, and that's why it's unique. I really love the fact that we have in South Park, for example, 23 miles of public river, 3 still waters, and even furthest west, the Freestone on the Arkansas River. The opportunities there for the damsel hatch is amazing. But in addition to that, it can be overlooked, especially in river settings. There's oftentimes damsels in rivers, damsel nymphs in rivers, adults, opportunities for fish to feed there. So still waters and rivers alike, it can be effective across the globe. And matching the color of this imitation will be in blue, olive, and tan, which will represent various color schemes and patterns from male to females and match some of the waters that you fish, whether it's close to home or traveling abroad to South America. So it has a far reach and hopefully will bring anglers success.
Yeah, super cool. And, obviously, you're guiding still, and even though it's the winter time, and it's kind of an interesting thing, right? Because the days are shorter, and you kind of have to pick your spots, right? Because I've seen your Instagram feed, and some days you got to just stay at home and drink hot chocolate. But why don't you let folks know kind of what you're seeing out on the water and kind of what that winter routine looks like for you?
It's been an amazing year. Yeah, I appreciate you asking that. So I guide on 3 river systems. The main river for me is the South Platte. I also have permits and access to the Blue River by Silverthorne, and then the Arkansas River near Pueblo. And we have some cool opportunities in high elevation and low elevation. The Arkansas sits at around 4,000 feet. When you're in Summit County, you're up at around 87 to 9,200 feet. Down at Deckers, you're around 6. So we have this elevation gain and drop. So cold days, we can drop down and fish the lower elevation spots, stay warm, still have bug activity. And then when we get those sneaker warming days where even 50 degrees will feel balmy, we can move up to 8,700, 9,200 feet. And it's been productive. We've had a lot of great midge activity. Some of our extremely warm days, we've even seen betas, some blooming olive hatches coming off down in the Arkansas section, and even a few of those down at Deckers. So it's cool to have these mixture of different hatches, food supplies, and bugs, but sneaking in opportunities to guide. I always love that, especially between shows and show season. So fingers crossed the weather works for us on our trip. But if not, you got to leave those open days to reschedule. Because like you said, you're sitting at home, time flies, drinking hot cocoa, looking at the weather, knowing that you got to wait for it to warm up just a little bit more.
Yeah. And I know too, you're getting your 10,000 steps in when you're doing that, because I fished with you.
Yes. Well, I love to move. I'm a fan of new water. I'm a fan of finding productive zones. And I think staying mobile is really key. In addition to being more successful, catching more fish and having more opportunities, it also makes you a better angler because you're facing different conditions, different setups, different angles and approach. So that alone is enough to give you more opportunities at trout. But in addition to that, finding new targets and new target zones too.
Yeah, and I think it's great too. You're really lucky where you are that you have so many tailwaters, because it gives you so many more winter options than most people have.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, once you experience it, I always tell people the South Platte River is unique because it's like fishing 5 different river systems on any given day, and you're only separated by an hour. I mean, you can be the open meadows of the Dream Stream, the canyon settings in 11 Mile and Cheeseman, or Waterton, the forest setting at Deckers. Every spot looks different. Every spot will flow differently. And in addition to that, you have different hatches, target different fish. So it really is endless. And I believe if you can be successful in every location of the South Platte River, you can literally apply those techniques, become the better angler, and be successful anywhere you fish in the world. It's that diverse and unique for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because that was kind of the impetus for us we're going to do a tip series this year. And that was really, by being able to come out to Colorado for Clean the Dream and to kind of see and fish the fishery and fish the area, with you and other folks, one, it's, people learn to fish the water that's available to them. But then you sit and, for me, I live on the East Coast, to come out to you and have techniques that I watch and that I can bring home is really helpful. So that's something that we're going to work on and try to bring to folks every 2 weeks, kind of during the thick of fishing season.
I think so. Yeah, I'm excited for that, doing the tip series with you and podcasts where we can supply some tips and opportunities, problems and solutions for many things that we face. But you're exactly right. Being able to make adjustments and being flexible. Some of the best anglers I encounter around the globe that come out to visit, the anglers that can be flexible, adapt, and adjust to new environments within 24 hours makes them the ultimate angler, and in return land more and larger trout that way, or just fish in general. So it'll be nice to share those. And we really did appreciate you coming out to support Clean the Dream. Look for that as well, folks. We're going to be doing that every year moving forward. This year will be our 8th annual, third week in August. So we'll pass on those details when they're available. But we're already starting some planning phases in that and getting some of the companies on board. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to win a Yeti product because you had just a few.
Yeti and clean up. And yeah, most importantly, last year, as you saw, we cleaned all of South Park. I mean, there's 7 locations, all the river systems, the Stillwaters, Antero, spinning 11 mile and collecting over 1,000 pounds in trash and having just over 200 people attend. And most importantly, what you witnessed are the families, bringing out the mom and dad and kids and anybody who wants to attend or be a part of it or give back. It doesn't matter age, gender. There really is just a celebration of everybody coming together for that day. So it's epic event and one of my favorite days of the year for sure.
Yeah, and a real kind of testimony to, kind of your journey. I mean, you had people, like you had Mom Angler brought her family from Texas. I met, clients and friends that fished with you when you were a kid that have moved out of Colorado that come back just to be part of the event.
Yeah, it really is incredible. It just shows you the power of unity and the power of believing in the cause. And most importantly, the power of believing in this passion that we all share. And it starts with the resource. And I believe if we teach our youth this and we practice it ourselves, by protecting the resource, we ensure future generations the same happiness that we all evolved into. And in addition to that, more trout, more opportunities to have fun days, happy days, and remaining a student really is key. And that's the biggest thing I've learned as an adult, as a mature man, a father, now engaged to a wonderful woman, Charlie, is that, giving back in whatever relationships you have in life is really the key to success and the key to positivity. And it's not just from person to person, human to human. It's the relationship we have with the water, earth, everything surrounding these resources. So it's a huge event. And really, I think it will change the way you view things and can realistically change your life if you attended.
Yeah, I think it's a powerful concept too, right? Because I would say, you and I have talked about this a lot, right? That to kind of, have an abundant view of the world, right?
Absolutely.
And to be generous. But I would also say, while it's incredibly fulfilling, and I know you know this, sometimes you have to really have some stamina and find those kind of people in your tribe because, you never are really doing it for the payback. You're doing it because you think it's the right thing to do. And sometimes it takes a little longer for some of that love to get reflected back than other times, right?
Bet.
You
bet. Absolutely. And that event is not possible without all of the volunteers, and most importantly, our key volunteers. I mean, we have a group which you spend a lot of time with. The group of us now have grown to 14, and these 14 individuals from day one gather, get together. The founder, my good friend, Brandon Kramer, who lives out of state now, comes back every year into the state to be a part of this event, and being co-founder with him it's really an honor and a great thing to add to our friendship and the value of the fishery. So it's nice to find the other soldiers that are willing to troop together and make a difference for that entire day.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I heard a rumor that you had your own jet like Led Zeppelin. You're going to so many fly fishing shows.
I can't. It feels like that. I'm definitely now. I wish I had the jet and the comforts to relax and spread out, but no, I'm definitely stuck in economy and traveling around the States. But it's show season, baby. I can't believe it. creeped up last weekend in Boston. Was awesome. The Marlboro show was amazing. Attendance was up. People were excited. We're past some of the feeling and scared situations with COVID and feeling worried or stressed. While we all still have the issues and we need to be concerned of being sick, it's nice to just have the celebration of show season back and all the shows moving forward. And this weekend's Edison in New Jersey. Following that is going to be Atlanta, which I know you'll be at that, Marvin, presenting yourself. And then following that, we get a break, and then we're back in Denver. I know you're going to be there as well. So congratulations on presenting at the shows yourself. And what you'll quickly realize is when you're there, it's the power of giving back, the excitement, the energy, the motivation. It's contagious, and I just can't wait for each one to come. So classes, demonstrations, seminars, there's so much to really be involved in. And just look at the schedule. I'm going to be sending that out in a newsletter. It's available on the Fly Fishing Show's website, my website, and I'm sure you've got it up on yours, and we got it on our social pages. So I'm excited for it, man. We're definitely taking off on that rocket ship.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we should have a GoFundMe campaign for you so you can get your own Gulfstream.
Exactly, right. Have that going for me. One thing I did do is I got that United card this year, so I'm happy for that.
Oh, is that kind of like the Admirals Club for American?
It is. I mean, even from, just getting a chance to board in second round or the second seatings, and then in addition to that, being able to have free check bags makes a big difference. But yeah, it's definitely that time. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I mean, I'm excited. It'll be the first time I've had an opportunity to speak, and I'll speak in Atlanta, and I'll speak in Denver, and it's kind of an interesting thing because you and I were talking before we started recording that what I'm really kind of focused on is kind of process stuff for kind of beginning and beginner intermediate anglers. Although I always think you can always learn something from every presentation.
Sure.
And so I'm excited to talk about, just helping anglers have a plan during the seasons for trout and insects. And then also an additional talk in Denver is going to be just about having a process, right? And,
that's great.
And,
absolutely.
And it's interesting because I know you and I have talked about it before. I mean, it's not about it being the process. It's about having a process, right? And I think that's the trick. And so, what I just, tell people is like, I think these are areas that I think are important. I can tell you how I do it. That's not the way to do it. You just need to figure out your way to do it. And, the whole goal I look at it is it's really kind of trying, none of us fish as much as we want to. And so the more habit, just like your gym habit, that we can put into our fishing, the more successful we're going to be because the more we can focus on the stuff that really will change the day.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely. It's just so true. It's so true. And those are great topics. And that's what's unique about the shows. You have so many opportunities. Let's say in one show, you attend 2 days out of 3. You could sit in on 5 seminars, 3 casting demonstrations, 3 tying demonstrations, and literally consume enough information to digest and effectively try and learn from throughout the course of 1 year. So it's really awesome to have the titles and representation. And for me, I'll be concentrating on the sight fishing for trout side, so the seasonal sides of being out there winter, spring, summer, and fall. And one of my favorites is the casting pond, in addition to tying demos where you can see it live and in person. And the casting demo is short range and tying demo with guide flies. But those are great topics and ideas and thoughts, and I'm excited to sit on your talks as well, Marvin. It'll be new blood and new information for me.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's funny too when you're talking about your casting demonstrations. It makes me think about you opening the refrigerator.
Yes, exactly. A few of the tips, and the biggest thing is 20 feet or less. It's what we'll concentrate on in the ponds. 80% of trout are caught within 20 feet or less, and when I made the video with Jay Nichols, Mastering the Short Game, and it is out on Vimeo still and available. That was really key in what we emphasized on. And that's what blows people's minds, is that it can be such a close, intimate experience when you're hunting that large trout. And when you don't have to cast 50, even 40 or 30 feet, and you're going less than that, it's really unique how you need to change up the casting strokes and ways to deliver effectively. So I'm always pumped and excited to get on the pond. And the only thing missing on the ponds is a fish coming up and taking your fly, but that's soon to come as well.
Yeah, I have seen goldfish in the casting ponds before.
That's an idea. We could do it. We'll start, even if we start small, we'll let them grow.
Yeah, we'll catch them on a size 26.
That's right.
All
That's
good stuff. But I also know that you are you're not just doing the fly fishing shows. You've got other shows and presentations on your dance card as well.
I do. I have a lot of great events this year. We're going to have a chance to shake hands, meet a lot of great people, and talk fishing. The next best thing to fishing, of course, is talking fishing and demonstrations and seminars. I'll be at the Midwest Fly Fishing Expo in Detroit, Michigan. I'll be in Minnesota at the Great Waters Fly Expo. And then I'll be traveling up and down the coast of California with the consortium there. I'll be at 7 clubs in 10 days. And all of these will be available. We just finalized the last show's contract, so I'll be sending the dates out, and all my schedule is going to be released this week before I travel out. So tomorrow, look for that on a newsletter. You can sign up for that newsletter through my website, LandonMayerFlyFishing.com, but I'll be sharing that. And it's nice to have that reach and really travel into other shows and being there before and knowing that everybody just gathers up before seasons hit and have a chance to really share and celebrate is really fun.
Yeah, and you might even have a chance to do some ice fishing.
May have that opportunity for sure. It's always a challenge between shows. If you're busy doing show to show, when it's warmer out, you can sneak in a day or two. But when it's cold out, it just depends on the region and the area you're presenting in. But trying to find that one day to fish is always the struggle. But it'll start to warm. By the time I get to California, I'll have a chance to look at some other opportunities with myself and Charlie and be able to stop in locations and celebrate and fish with folks too. So that should be fun.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And I'll drop links to all that stuff in the show notes for you.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you bet. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in, probably, I don't know, a week or two. You want to let folks know, social media and all those kind of handles and all that kind of good stuff before you hop and go tie flies and drink hot chocolate?
You bet, my friend. So you can reach me again through the website. It's LandonMayerFlyFishing.com, Landon Mayer Fly Fishing on Instagram and Facebook, and also Landon Mayer Fly Fishing on YouTube. And look for the Instagram post. I know myself, and you're doing the same, Marvin, on Articulate Fly, and then also your own page. But we tend to share what the presentations, seminars, and demonstrations are going to be. So yesterday on Instagram, I was able to share the schedule. I'll do that through my newsletter, which is simply just signing up to receive free guide tips monthly and announcements of the schedule and different shows and areas I'll be or trips I'll be performing. And it's a nice way to just gather up the information and pass it along. So if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I appreciate you having me on, brother. And most importantly, I appreciate everybody's support. So looking forward to getting on that jet plane and taking off here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, thanks for making the time and safe travels, and I'll see you soon.
My pleasure. Yeah, keep up the great work, Marvin. And for those who are just listening here the first time, be sure to go back in the archives, because what this gentleman's doing with the podcast is really exceptional work with some of the best people, not only in the sport, but just best people that you can meet in person and in general. So keep up the great work, my friend.
I super appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Sounds good. Take care, Marvin.
You too. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Hope to see all of you this weekend at the Atlanta Fly Fishing Show. Tight lines, everybody.